Let's begin by finding center. Shift your weight left and right, not too far, but far enough to really feel that you're shifting your weight. And then make that shift smaller. And then see if you can find where the center of your body, your center of gravity, sits right between your feet, left and right. And then gently swinging your arms front and back, moving your pelvis and your whole body front and back. And I'm going to exaggerate it a bit. And we'll try that, and then make it a little smaller and see if we can balance our weight, finding center right between our feet. Now we have left and right, and front and back. And then we're going to do the same thing, but now we're going to keep our weight centered, and we're going to extend our body upwards, kind of like we're reaching upward through the top of our head. And then we're going to sink downward, leading with our tailbone, and just see if we can drop that center of weight right between your feet, left, right, front, back, and up and down, arriving in the moment, in your body, in your breath, to enter your practice. Let's check in with nature. Inhale and float up, reach up towards the sky, come together over your head, reaching up a little bit. Then sink your whole body, hands in front of your forehead, hands in front of your heart, hands in front of you like you have a pregnant belly. Hands float out, and settle down. Inhale, connect with the sky. Connect with source. Exhale, mind, heart, body. Inhale, open everywhere. Check in with the land, the earth. Exhale, sink in through your structure, front, back, left and right, finding center, up and down. Inhale. Hands come up, just check in with the sky, and reach up, check in with source, whatever that might mean to you. Exhale, mind, heart, body. Inhale, check in with the land. Line yourself up, front, back, left and right. Make sure you feel ready to begin your practice. So let's expand our Qi. So we're going to inhale, and we're going to float out and up, nice and round. Keep floating up. Exhale, hands turn over slowly. Hands float up, soft, round, hanging, loose. We float up, we rise up underneath, look up. Just connect with all the beautiful sunlight. Exhale. Sink. Knees to your toes, hips just ahead of your heels. Pelvis is level like a bowl. Hanging from your head, nice and loose. Inhale, sink back so your hands float up. Inhale some more, follow your body up. Look up, exhale, sink. Lower your gaze with your hands fall to the sides. Inhale. Exhale. Sink back. Keep your balance with your hands. Float up. Come up. Reach out. Exhale. And just sink and settle. So now, as we stand, feeling connected with our body. We're going to sway back and forth a little bit as if we're kelp and we're in an ocean, and the ocean goes this way, ocean goes that way, ocean comes up, ocean comes down. And we're going to see if we can be really spontaneous and intuitive and playful and kind of dance-like as we're going to go through the same practice. But we're just going to let the ocean do the moving. Just turn left and right, using your whole body to turn, not just your hands. So I'm just going to put my hand on my belly button. So notice, if you can, when you're moving from your pelvis and your core, your pelvis does most of the work, turning your body left and right. But it takes some time to loosen up your hips and find the right muscles, so play with it, but that's really important. So now as we swing, we're going to slow down and reach through our fingers, and we're going to allow our imagination to reach into our arms like they're antennas or whiskers, in the sense that when they reach out, they feel, they interact, and they kind of gather information, if you will, or energy or awareness. So we reach, extending little antennas. We want to reconnect with the land and the energy that's coming up from the land, the energy that's coming down from the sky. So take a look around, and if you're inside, imagine you're not inside. And just imagine the land as far as you can see, or look at the land as far as you can see. And just imagine that it's 10,000 years ago, and one of your ancestors, for some reason 10,000 years ago, woke up every day and went like this. And they reached out as far as they could see with their whiskers, their antennas, to feel the aliveness of the world, the Qi of the land, the Qi of the sky. So as we do that, nice and slow, receive, gather the qi that's coming down from the sky. Even if it's a cloudy day, we can still feel the light. So when I feel the light, let that go through all of your cells, imbuing you with that sky energy or sky qi, tian qi. And we're going to turn, focusing more as if our whiskers are rolling along, kind of caressing the topography. So they kind of go like this, and you don't have to be literal in the sense that every mountain and tree and that, because we don't want to be nervous. We just want to, again, imagine and play. We're reaching out as far as we can see with these invisible whiskers. And now we're just feeling the aliveness coming up from the land through the plants, the trees, the animals. And then we're going to slow down and come back to center. Stirring cauldrons. We inhale, come around, monkey holds the cauldron. We want to imagine that the cauldron in our hands has something in it, like say a medicine potion or something. And as we start to stir and move it around, the thing we want to be aware of as we interact with this is how we direct and recover the liquid that's inside. Now, another way to imagine this would be to say you have a salad bowl full of water and you want to go like this with a salad bowl but not splash the water too far, right? So I'm going to stay with the cauldron. But just for us to be able to visualize, okay, I have something in my hands and I'm stirring what's inside of it. So I'm moving the weight of the cauldron or the bowl, but I'm also playing with the momentum inside. And also, and just keep stirring, I'm going to move my hands. You want to make sure that your sternum and your belly button and your nose are all moving, which means you have to open your hips, move left and right with muscles between your knees and pelvis, more than you're probably used to. And then we can just stir. And when you do this, we usually do 2 circles per inhale, 2 circles per exhale. Inhale for 2, exhale for 2. Then we go the other way. We stop. So we're going to explore what's called a Qi ball. The easiest way to explore this at first is to imagine that there's a balloon between your hands and that there's something that's going to blow up the balloon to move your hands apart, and then the balloon is going to empty halfway to bring your hands together. And as you inhale, that fills the balloon, and as you exhale, that lets some pressure out of the balloon. now we want to see if we can feel that we're pulling on the surface of that membrane of the balloon. You know, it's like a stretchy elastic membrane. So now we're going to pull a little bit and feel that the balloon isn't moving us, now we're moving the balloon. So now I draw the balloon open, press the balloon closed. And as I'm doing this, I'm playing with my breath, making more room, and then concentrating. We call this la and na in Chinese, right? La is to kind of pull and stretch open, make room. Na is to squeeze and gather and to kind of catch something and to keep it from running away. So this is what we're up to. It's also just a nice meditation. Keep your spine open. Breathe with ease, but with intention. So just turn left and right. And we're going to swing one hand out and around. And then we're going to get the feeling that we're gathering pollen, or if you imagine like dandelion fluff floating around, just going to have the imagined experience of gathering that pollen, pouring it into the pelvis, like your pelvis is a bowl. And as that's happening, the other hand is going to come around, gathering pollen or dandelion, butterflies, whatever you like. And as it pours into the belly, into the lower dantian, or you can imagine it just pouring it over the front of your pelvis into your pelvis, the other one's gathering around. So as this one's pouring, this one's wrapping around and gathering. As this one comes in to pour, and pouring and gathering kind of at the same time. So if you want, you can do this with just one hand for a minute. Gather, bring around, sit in front of the abdomen, pour it into the pelvis, reach around with the other side, gather, pour it into the pelvis. And it's important to play with your imagination that way. You can see I'm just wiggling back and forth, left and right, sort of intuitively with what I'm doing. Gathering and pouring. Gathering and pouring. So we want to play now with our sense of attention and intention. So our intention, our left brain, we're having the experience of physically gathering something, physically bringing it close to the body, physically bringing it in to the belly, pouring it, letting it sink down and fill your pelvis as if your pelvis has lots of room for pollen or butterflies. So, or you can even think of it as a liquid if you want. You know, the pollen turns into liquid and then you can pour that, because we're trying to play with how our brain works a little bit. So when I physically play with that, a little bit of resistance, a little bit of weight, bring it towards me, feel it in my hand, feel it pouring into my pelvis, feel my pelvis filling, or my dantian filling, depending on how you play with that. And it is kind of hypnotic and meant to increase the qualities of experience and sensation. So that's what I'm doing with my intention or with my left brain. Gather the stuff, move the stuff here, pour the stuff into the other place, gather stuff, put stuff here. And you know, obviously we're thinking of the experience of Qi. So the left brain isn't always convinced of these things, you know, in the sense of science and whether or not we can bring Qi into the belly. So we're choosing to be aware that one side of our mind needs causes and effects. So let's exaggerate that experience, that intention. So we can move into the other side of the brain, the other side of the human experience, which we're going to call your attention or your right brain. So this is all just about how we feel things. So to feel connection, to receive, to be grateful, to be self-care, self-nurturing, self-healing, bringing what we need to us so we can fill our needs, take care of ourselves so that we can feel some self-love. That's what the right brain is experiencing. I'm taking care of myself. Whatever filling my belly with pollen actually means in the left brain, it feels really nice to just care and to take care and to receive and to be kind of fulfilled in a way. And you can play with the timing, lots of ways to go about it. Now we want to play a little bit more with our aliveness and what we call a dragon body. So now all of our movements are exaggerated, we're going up and down more, we're using our whole core and ribs and spine to move our gathering hand around. And it's just to be more agile, more expressive, more intuitive, and the more we move sometimes like we're dancing, the more the body shows us where it wants to open. And again, the rules kind of loosen, you could say, because I might want to do 3 gathering and pourings on one side, or 5 or 10 or back to 1. It's just to go into joy, to go into dance, to expressiveness. And it's in that place where the energy really starts to move. So if we take that same quality of big dragon-like movements, and now we're going to slow that down. We want to focus almost entirely on the pouring and receiving. Body's still moving, it's just moving slow, like Tai Chi. And this is a strange thing to say, but try to never do it the same way twice when you're going into this part of the practice. So everything seems like a spontaneous interaction. Because when we keep things spontaneous and play with the rules, if we want to call them rules, we have to stay in the moment. And this is when the energy systems in the body really learn and really remember in the sense of healing. So always play with the, I don't know, memory, if you will, that your body can turn into a dragon, and how you move now has a different energetic potency, and you could call it energetic attractiveness, because if you want to move like a mythical being, maybe you'll be gathering more mythical kinds of energy, you know. And again, the story doesn't matter. It's the movement, the breathing, the connection, the receiving, the gratitude, and the play. Play, play, play. Inhale, reach out, palms turning up. Reaching up, let your body lengthen out. Wrap your hands around something that you can hang off of, then soften your ankles. Place your knees towards your second toe, hips over your heels, just ahead of your heels, pelvis like a bowl. Place your ribs right over your pelvis, tuck your chin back. And now that your body's all lined up, let your shoulder blades sink. Let your hands fall over your feet, just in front of your feet. Settling. Inhale. Open your ankles, knees, hips, pelvis, ribs, shoulder blades falling. Reach up. Build your structure from the bottom. Let your body sink and settle, becoming like a mountain. Elbows out, wrists out, fingers out, palms up. Reaching up, wrapping your hands, softening your ankles, knees, hips, pelvis, ribs, sliding down. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, focus on the body. Just let your body settle. Focus on the breath. And let your breath settle. Feel into your Qing. Your essence, your mojo, and let all of that aliveness in your body settle. Feel into your aliveness as Qi, moment by moment. Just allow your Qi to settle. Bring awareness to consciousness, to mind, to spirit. And let spirit settle. Come into your body. Settle the body. Settle into your structure. Feel your bones. Feel your breath. Feeling your belly and your chest. And just empty. Your body settle around the emptying breath. Into your upper dantian. Just settle that space through the space of your head and sinuses and mind. Middle dantian. We feel our emotion, our sense of connection and belonging. Just let that settle. Middle dantian, settling. Lower dantian. All your animal instincts, your intuition, just settling, arriving, preparing to end our practice. Inhale, hands reach up. Exhale, just closing your practice. Inhale, closing the practice. And down the midline, sealing any energetic boundaries you need. Feeling the shape of that protective Qi bubble, just relaxing. Last closing your midline, sealing your energy. Inhale. Bring your feet together. Exhale. If you choose, you can bow to the generations that have come before. It's optional. You don't have to do that. This is also optional, but you can take a sense of the Qi you've cultivated today and send it to everyone in the world or to someone specific. And just breathe in. And send that good Qi to where it needs to go. And that's a way of expressing our generosity and gratitude for having our practice and being able to share it.